Snow falls into a cave mouth. 23 bodies lie inside, curled, facing the wall. Not one of them tried to run. This is a real kind of sight. Archaeologists have found dozens like it, scattered across Ice Age Europe. A shelter, a hearth, a family, and then silence. No weapons drawn, no scorch marks from an attack, no broken bones from a fight. Just people lying down, as if they simply stopped. Something ended this tribe in a single season, and the bones are the only ones who remember it. So the researchers do what they always do. They start with the fire pit. The ash is cold, colder than it should be. Tree ring data from the same layer tells a brutal story. A cold snap, not the usual winter. A winter that came early and stayed long and refused to leave. Storage pits nearby are empty, scraped clean down to the dirt. That's not unusual on its own. Every tribe ran low by the end of winter. But something is wrong with the timeline. The pits were emptied weeks before the deaths happened, which means for those final weeks they had nothing. No food, no stored meat, no roots, just each other and the cold and the count of days until spring. So how did they last that long? The answer is in the next layer of bone, and it is not a comfortable one. Cut marks, fine, careful, deliberate cut marks on the bones of their own dead. For a moment, the story looks like the worst version of itself. Violence. Cannibalism as conquest, a massacre. But the marks don't match an attack. There's no trauma before death, no signs of a struggle, no crushed skulls, no defensive wounds. The cuts came after, carefully placed, the way you'd butcher an animal to survive, not to punish it. These weren't enemies. These were the ones who died first, feeding the ones who died last. It's the oldest, coldest math there is. Some had to go so others could see one more week. And somebody in that cave made that choice. Somebody decided who ate and who didn't and in what order. We will never know their name, but their choices are written into every bone in that layer. Now here's where it gets stranger. Not everyone died at the same time. The isotopes in the bones, the chemical fingerprint of what a body has eaten, show a gap. Some individuals lived days longer than others. One lived weeks longer than everyone else. That person's bones show something the others don't. Traces of early spring growth, new shoots, the first green things to break through snow. They almost made it. They were so close to the thaw that new food had already started growing outside. And then they stopped too. Not from cold, not from hunger even. The wear on the joints, the posture of the body when found. This person had been moving less and less for days, like something had already left them, long before their body did. Here's the detail that stays with the researchers. That last body wasn't found curled up alone. It was found near the others, arranged carefully, faces covered, limbs straightened. Someone had gone around the cave in those final days and laid every single person to rest, one by one, before finally lying down themselves in the space they'd left for it. They didn't die trying to escape the winter. They died after making sure no one else in that cave would be found in fear or pain or disarray. That is the last decision this person ever made, and it had nothing to do with surviving. We like to imagine early humans as pure survival machines. Claw, hunger, instinct, nothing else. But this cave says otherwise. In the very last hours of the very worst winter, one of them spent their final strength on something that couldn't save a single life. Care. Long before we had language for it, before we had rituals or gods or graves. We already had this. Someone always stayed to make sure no one was left alone in the end. That might be the oldest part of being human there is.